Good morning. I'm the Reverend Sasha Ostrom, the minister here at the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and it's wonderful for us all to be together, those of us here, the very few here in the room today, and I'm sure all of you who are watching from online on this snowy morning. So as we settle in for the morning, let's pause and center our minds and our spirits around December's theme of choosing hope. And this is an especially important topic for us this morning as we enter into our Blue Christmas service. You know, the holidays are a time of joy for many, but for some, winter and the winter holidays can be challenging. Seasonal depression, the winter blues, grief, financial hardship, family tension, loneliness, anxiety about the state of the world, or stress over the holidays and the approaching New Year can make this time difficult. A time when we wait with hope for the pain to ease and for life to get better. So if you are feeling that this winter's kind of rough, or if you are supporting a loved one who feels that way, today's service is especially for you, but this service is also for everyone, for all of us, because even if our hearts are light right now, there are still times in our lives when life feels heavy and things are a little bit harder to bear, and so it's good for us to take moments to prepare ourselves for such times before we get there so that we'll be well-resourced when we enter into them. So let's begin today with words by Gwen Matthews. As December opens up before us, we welcome the gifts of hope and reflection. We turn toward our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning found in ancient people in difficult times. Next week, we celebrate Yule, the winter solstice, the longest and darkest night of the year. We are invited to explore duality, cycles, and seasons, to witness the Holly King being overcome by the Oak King, ushering in a new season and promising renewal, even in the cold and dark time. Yule reminds us that we all partake in the miracle of renewal. And Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, begins this evening commemorating a time of miracles when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them in a time of hardship to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. And today is the third Sunday of Advent, marking a time of waiting. And it ends on Christmas Eve with the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offering us a chance to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. And here in this congregation, we bring together a community of many different faith backgrounds. Some among us celebrate one or more of these traditions, and some none. But we all experience the winter each year, and through the winter times, now and then, we also experience winter in our lives. In this congregation, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to a faith, as the creation of new life. I see the love in you and in others that you give to others, the space that you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity of spirit that you entrust to this community. You are a holiday miracle. And this community is one of miracle makers. So come, my friends, and let's worship and find hope together.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Marjorie Wormser, your worship associate for today. Each Sunday, we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. And in this season of lights, when each flame represents a special hope burning in the hearts of our spiritual neighbors, we have some special lights to kindle. The first candle of the menorah, which Jewish members of our congregation might light at home tonight to mark the first night of Hanukkah. And the third candle of the Advent wreath, which some Christians among us might light at home each Sunday of the Advent season. So this morning we have 3 volunteers, Judy and Jane. And Jane, please come forward. We're going to light our chalice first. And then, thank you. And Judy, would you light the menorah, please?
Let's just take this out. It's hard.
And the pink, thank you. Yes, there is a blessing that goes with lighting each candle of the menorah, and we'll save that for another day. And Jane, thank you for lighting the third candle of Advent. So today's candle lighting reading is by the Reverend D.C. Fortune. We light this chalice and these lights as symbols of free faith. We light these flames to remember a miracle of lamp oil that burned for 8 days. We light these flames to mark the nights of midwinter. We light these flames as we wait for light and hope to return. So please stand as you are able for our affirmation by James Villa Blake. Thank you, candle lighters. Appreciate your help this morning. Please repeat each line after me, which helps young ones who may be viewing to participate even if they don't yet read. So love is the spirit of this fellowship.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
And service is its law.
And service is its law.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another.
And to help one another.
And please join me now for our opening hymn, which is in your gray hymnal and on the screen, number 225, O Come, Emmanuel.
Rejoice,
Well, good morning again, and welcome. Welcome especially to any newcomers, returning members of our community, and anyone who joins us online today. And if you're tuning in live on YouTube, please say hi in the chat if you haven't already. We're delighted to have you with us. We are a community of all ages, and we all worship together. You can join us in many ways on Sundays, including online, here in the sanctuary, or from one of the many rooms in our building where we live stream the service. Our family room for families with little ones is located beyond these sanctuary doors and immediately to your right. The family room is especially great if you need a space to talk, soothe a child, or get the wiggles out. Our service is live streamed there, so you won't miss a thing. Children of all ages are welcome in all of our services, and we also offer childcare as an additional option for families with small children, ages 9 months to 5 years. If you find yourself in need of childcare at any point during worship today, please bring your little one to room A in our Gateway centers out these doors and to the left. Again, welcome to everyone here with us today, especially those in the room. You braved the snowy roads. We are delighted that you are among us.
All right, today I have a story for us. It is called The Trees of the Dancing Goats, and it's by Patricia Polacco. At our farm, we didn't celebrate the same holidays as most of our neighbors, but we shared their delight and anticipation of them. Such cold the winter brings, my babushka said as she looked out our front window. And then she caught my eye and she winked. Now, she wasn't fooling me. I knew how much she loved the snow. It reminded her of her homeland in the Ukraine. My grandfather was from Soviet Georgia, way to the south of Russia, and he and babushka spoke Russian and had wonderful accents. They kept their homelands in their hearts, even though they would never be permitted to return to them. This year, we would have a week together and then 8 days of Hanukkah festivities. The next day, Mama took out our menorah and told me to polish it. And while I rubbed the menorah, I watched my grandmother make the candles that we would put in it. And Grandpa prepared for our Festival of Lights as well. He carved small toys out of wood. When he went into town, my brother Richard and I snuck into his workroom to take a peek. "Look, a dancing goat," my brother exclaimed as he held one of them up. My mother called for me, and I thought she had caught me spying, but she only wanted me to go over to the Kremls for some cornbread. The Kremls, our nearest neighbors, were farmers like us. I practically lived at the Kreml's house because Cherry Kreml was my best friend. We especially loved the holiday season when I would watch her family decorate their Christmas tree, and she would watch my family watch my family light our menorah. But when I got there, I found everyone there was quite sick. And Cherry was crying. "How will Christmas come?" she wailed. "Why wouldn't it?" I asked. "'Cause we haven't put up the tree this year. Papa's too sick to get out of bed and chop one down." And then she coughed an awful cough. And I ran home and I burst in with the news about Cherry and her family. Now, as the days passed, more and more reports came to us of neighbors falling sick. It was an epidemic. We were all worried about our friends, but Babushka was determined that our Festival of Lights would go on as planned. The sun set, and it was time to light our menorah. Then Mama told the story, as she did every year, of our people long ago. "Tonight we are celebrating miracles," she started, "the miracle that a very small band of Jewish families could defeat such a huge army. They were fighting so they could worship in their own way. Then there was the miracle of light. A tiny drop of oil burned in the temple for 8 days. Miracles can happen even today." And after dinner, Grandpa handed us our first beautifully wrapped presents. He looked troubled, though. "You know, our neighbors are having such a hard time, and this should be a time of gladness for them. We should cut down trees and take them to their houses. But we have nothing with which to decorate their trees, my grandmother said. What about the carvings, my mother said softly. And then everyone looked at me. And at first I was disappointed, but after a while I knew that it was the right thing to do. Our neighbors needed cheering, and we were just about the only ones who didn't have the fever. Grandpa and Richard brought the trees into the living room, and Grandpa started hanging some of his wooden animals on the branches of a tree. A dancing goat, my babushka remarked as she looked closely at one of them. We shall call these the trees of the dancing goats. And as we decorated the trees, we sang and laughed, and the single candle in the menorah flickered. And we all worked into the night. While Grandpa Richard and I finished the decorating babushka and Mama roasted more chickens and fried more potato latkes, they packed the food in baskets, and into each one, babushka placed one of her homemade Hanukkah candles. We loaded Grandpa's old Ford, and we sent Grandpa and babushka into the early light of dawn with their Christmas cheer. And we waited eagerly for them to return the next morning. We thrilled when they told us how they entered the home of each neighbor, set up a tree in the living room, put a basket of food on the table, and then put a candle in the holder for them to light later. And a week later, the 8 days of Hanukkah had come and gone, and we sat down to have our last feast. And then there was a knock at the door. Now, who could that be? Babushka said as she scurried to the door with her usual warm smile. And it was the Kremls, Cherry with her mom and her dad, and they assured us that they were quite well now. We have something for you, Cherry said as she bolted through the door holding a basket. Her mother and father had tears in their eyes as they hugged my grandparents and mother. Look what my dad made for you, Cherry said. She pulled out a menorah that Mr. Kreml had carved out of wood, and on it he had mounted some of the animals that we had given to them. Come sit, Grandpa said. You are so welcome. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, George, Mr. Kreml said, looking into Grandpa's eyes. And they sat down and they shared our feast. Now, by this time, our menorah had been lit for about an hour or so. And when we lit the candles on the new menorah, we noticed something wondrous. Look, I cried out, our new candles are exactly as tall as the old ones. The old ones don't even look burned down, Mama said softly. Another miracle, Grandpa said. A miracle indeed, my babushka said, giving me a big hug. And then we all got up and we danced together in the flickering candlelight. Our neighbors recovered from that terrible fever. Few were left with any permanent damage. What they were left with was a long-cherished memory of the Christmas that really did come. My family, too, has never forgotten that incredible winter of the fever, the miracle of true friendship, and the trees of the dancing goats. And the end. All right, it's time now for our milestones and passages. Sometimes we come to this sacred place with a lot on our hearts. Maybe you got married, maybe you lost a job, maybe like in our story, you or a loved one is sick or recovering from an illness. Maybe you're going through a divorce. And children have joys and sorrows too, things that make you happy or sad. And whatever your age and whatever the joys and sorrows of your own life, you can share them in our service by filling out a milestones and passages form. You can do that online before 9 a.m. And you can also do so by filling out one of our paper forms. Our online forms can be found in our newsletter as well as on our website. Now, we have a few items that people have submitted, so I ask that you please respond to each of these by saying we hold you in our hearts. And if you are joining us online today, I invite you to participate in our chat or our comments. And I need to grab a couple more here they are. All right, Joe Ernhain shares, my snowblower started this morning. It's about a 50% chance. When I got it around my driveway, I found it had already been shoveled. I suspect my kind neighbor across the street. We hold you in our hearts. Marjorie shares an abundance of happy milestones. She says, my nephew Ben, who was on assignment in the UK for the past 2 years, fell in love with the girl next door and married in September. And they will be moving back stateside to Colorado later this month, and they are expecting in April. There's much to be grateful for. We hold you in our hearts. And Judy Borksland shares, on my ride to Muff today, not only was it beautiful, looking at the confectioner sugar-covered trees, but I saw something I had never before experienced. Driving on Route 80, there were 8 snowplows working cooperatively in formation, one in front of the other, exactly the same distance apart to clear one shoulder of the highway. They reminded me of a well-rehearsed ballet. Thank goodness for snow removal on our roads. We hold you in our hearts. Let's take a quiet moment now for the prayers and meditations of our hearts. Go ahead and close your eyes. Get comfy in your chair. Take a few moments just to focus on your breathing all the way down deep into your belly. Maybe hear the breaths of the people around you, this community that is holding you. You know, sometimes when we talk about the spirit of life, we talk about it as breath, as ruach, the spirit of life holding all of us in this still moment together. And let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together all the way down into our bellies, and then we'll enter into a moment of silence. Amen and blessed be. And now let's go ahead and please remain seated. We're going to sing number 256, Winter Night. And I'm not sure that this is one that we know super well. So let's go ahead and have Victoria play and maybe sing it through for us once, and we'll join in after that.
God.
Good morning. 70 years ago, the steering committee that had been appointed in October 23rd, 1955 was hard at work finishing the bylaws. The first service was held on October 30th. The only thing we know about it was that it was short. But services had been held from then, and they had a distinctly do-it-yourself feel. There was one, a religion of your own. In the first 2 months, another, the 10 Commandments as I would write them and with authority, and a third, the Bible as I would write it. Services were held first at 8:30 Sunday nights at the former Morristown YMCA, which is, if it's still got the same paint, it's a yellow building with white columns across from the courthouse on Western Avenue. And they had met there from the beginning. They later moved services to 8, a little more humane maybe. The reason for that was we had to rely on ministers who had jobs on Sunday mornings. Among them, the most frequent was Jacob Trapp, who was for decades minister at what was then called the Community Church in Summit. By about this time, in December 70 years ago, the first newsletter had been issued with plans for the first holiday party on December 17th, which had a puppet show and music and singing. And the price of admission was bring mittens, which were distributed to people in need. And I like to say the real founding was December 18th, 1955, because it's the first day we could say there were members. Because people signed the membership book, 32 signed the membership book that day. And I later adopted the founders' definition of founders, which they used at the 25th anniversary, which was anybody who signed a book by the end of February 56. So that's 52 people. And I suspect that covered all the people who were at the initial meeting of interest on October 18th. And on that day, the bylaws were approved. Date for election had been set. Committees were already functioning for program welcoming RE. A curriculum had been adopted, Sophia Lyon-Fawz's curriculum from the UU, then AU, not UU, American Unitarian Association. It's a little fuzzy whether classes had ever really begun because later Sunday records mention classes beginning. But by this point, 70 years ago this week, things were fully working and they were already thinking of a home. So I like to honor those people that have founded. There's, as I say, 2 for sure still living. One probably is, but I haven't been able to completely ascertain that. But we owe them for the ability to get off and running, well-organized, well-thought-out, a well-executed plan. And to honor that and have a good time, we're holding an anniversary party on January 31st here in the afternoon, and it's going to be a high tea party. Details are available right now on the website, and what you need to do, what you need to bring or not bring is up to you, but we look forward to you coming and having a good time and celebrating the people who helped us kick this place off really rapidly and continue to this day. Thank you very much.
So in lieu of a reading, I have a reflection to share today. For many of us, December holidays of Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa bring excitement and the anticipation of gatherings with loved ones. For some of us, these holidays bring a sense of disconnection, anxiety, dread. Joni Mitchell captures this holiday ennui in her song, River. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. And so it continues. And I could be tempted to feel that way this year, but I have decided to seek alternate ways to celebrate holidays. I hold fond memories of family gatherings for Christmas and Hanukkah, and most of all, we treasured our time together. We diffused the focus on gift exchanges among adults by contributing to one another's favorite charities. And even so, my mom delighted with great mischief in her practice of giving stocking stuffers, little gifts from the heart, which I carry forward in recent years with my sister. The time has come to create a new holiday tradition. My parents are no longer living. My young adult nephews no longer return to New Jersey for Christmas and Hanukkah. One lives in Texas, and the other, as was mentioned during Milestones and Passages, is moving back from the UK to live in Colorado. Their mom, my sister, now chooses Christmas Day respite with her spouse in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. My brother and sister-in-law are busy with their daughter, son-in-law, and 4 grandchildren, along with an enormous family of in-laws, as my nephew-in-law has 15 siblings, most with their own young families. I think a Cecil B. DeMille cast of thousands is not my path. So like the children's song, The Farmer in the Dell, I have become the cheese that stands alone. So why not, I ask myself, let the world be my oyster? Why not let the world be my oyster? I will probably spend Christmas Day at an Asian spa where I can rejuvenate in the hot tub, relax in the sauna, sip fresh squeezed juice, nosh on sushi. I can cleanse and refresh my body, mind, and spirit. If you are seeking a new way to celebrate the holidays, I hope you will be creative and unfettered to find ways to nourish your spirit and soothe your selfhood, and then grant yourself permission to go for it. So here are some Buddhist teachings that seem to fit for today. Every struggle is a lesson in disguise. Don't forget to laugh, even now. Sometimes not getting what we want is life protecting us. There is always something to be grateful for, always. And now is the time in our service each Sunday when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to this congregation. Your donations make all that we do here possible and to help make our wider community a better place. Each Sunday, we give at least half of the money collected to an organization that does good work to advance our Unitarian Universalist values in a world that needs them now more than ever. Today's offering will be split 50-50 with Side with Love, the organizing strategy team of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We harness the power of love to confront and transform systems of oppression and build a world where all people can thrive. You may give in the collection plate or by following the instructions on your printed order of service or shown on the screen. Thank you for your generosity. Every bit makes a huge difference.
mentioned a couple services ago that I love walking at dawn. I wake with the sunrise most days, bundle up nice and warm, I grab a mug of tea, and then I head on outdoors. But the practice has gotten a little bit harder lately. As we are descending toward winter, the sun rises later, and so do I. It's colder, it's darker. The other day, my walk lasted only a few minutes because harsh winds slapped at me. Even in my warm coat, I found myself too cold, unprepared for the chill, and I fled inside. And so winter can feel like that sometimes. Yes, it can be a beautiful and fun season with white snow and cookies, carols, and candles, parties and presents, all that good holiday cheer. But sometimes life can feel a little less bright, a little bit more cold, like we're maybe being tossed about by wintry winds. Maybe it's the first holiday since a loved one died. Maybe money is tight and holiday fun feels out of reach for you. Maybe you're struggling with seasonal depression or the winter blues, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed at the state of the world. There's a lot of things that can make this a hard time of year for people. And when we're surrounded by all that red and green glitter and gold, it can sometimes feel like there's maybe no room for, a little bit of some blue or kind of gray feelings. But we all go through winter times in our lives sometimes. It's natural not to feel full of peace and joy every moment of every day. And the trick then is learning how to be in those wintry seasons of our lives well, so that whenever we enter those winter times in our lives, literally or metaphorically, that we will be okay, even if not everything is okay. And the spiritual art of waiting can help us prepare for and get through such times. We're all waiting for something. Maybe you're waiting for a paycheck or maybe even a job. Maybe you're waiting for healing or for test results. Maybe you're waiting for relief from something or justice or the return of light and warmth, for peace, the return of spring. There's so many different things that we wait for. And this season invites us to practice waiting. We wait for the holidays, we wait for the light to come back, we wait for hope. But it wouldn't be practice if waiting were easy. Waiting is something that's actually pretty hard. Even in good times when we are expecting things like maybe presents, waiting can be hard. And when we're experiencing a rough patch in life, it can be so much harder to wait. We may want to rush through to the ending, rush past all that pain, and that is completely natural. So then how do we become better at waiting? So one of the first things we have to do to become better at waiting is learn how to have hope. And that's right, learn how to have hope, because hope isn't just a feeling that comes to us, but actually a skill that we can cultivate within us. But that's easier said than done, right? Hope can feel out of reach, especially when we are struggling. Hope by its very nature is something that requires patience. It points us towards something good that isn't here yet, but that could maybe be in time. But we don't want it to be here in time. We want it now. Especially when we are hurting, we need relief. Stat. And if we can't see an immediate fix, we may find ourselves despairing. We might find ourselves giving up on hope. But let me share a story that I really like that helps us think about hope, not as passive waiting, but as something a little bit more active, a more active kind of waiting, as something that we do. Waiting is a kind of work, the spiritual work of engaging fully with what is right here and now with us in the present time, whatever it happens to be, even if it's something really hard, to really sit with it, to chew on it, to even maybe wrestle with it. So in Genesis chapter 32, one of the Hebrew patriarchs, Jacob, is journeying through the night. And it must have been really dark. And at this time of year, I kind of imagine that maybe it was kind of cold too, and maybe a little bit lonely. But Jacob wasn't alone for very long, because down by the riverbank, he encounters a mysterious figure, The Bible doesn't say very clearly who or what that figure is. Maybe it's a man, maybe it's an angel, maybe it's even God. And whoever it is, the two begin to wrestle there in the dark by that riverbank, and it's a painful struggle. Jacob is injured in the process, and the figure tells him to let go, but Jacob refuses to let go. He keeps wrestling with that man, that angel there in the darkness, maybe even with God, and he says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And eventually the wrestling comes to an end, and the figure gives Jacob a new name, Israel. And he explains that it means one who has struggled with God and with humans and has overcome. Now we too struggle. We struggle with other people as well. Maybe we struggle with God, with life itself. Because yes, life can be beautiful, but it can also sometimes be overwhelming. It can sometimes be terrifying and painful. And sometimes when things get really hard, we maybe lose hope that goodness will ever come again. And in those times, it can be tempting to give up. It can be tempting to stop wrestling with life, to stop seeking hope and meaning in the midst of whatever it is we're going through. It can be tempting to let go of hope and despair. But Jacob in the story didn't let go. He kept wrestling. He said, I will not let you go unless you bless me, because he knew that there were blessings in store for him. And he was going to keep seeking them, keep wrestling until he found them, until he saw them. And that's something that we can do too. When we are struggling to see life's goodness, we can keep grappling with life, keep holding on, keep saying, I will not let you go until you bless me. And we will keep exploring that together here in a moment soon. But first, let's go ahead and pause now as we do here. To sing before returning to the sermon. Our song is number 241 in the Bleak Midwinter. Let's go ahead and rise in body or spirit and sing just the first verse for now. So the story of Jacob shows us that hope isn't something that is flimsy and waiting isn't something that's passive. They are both things to actually be found in our struggle with life. Now, we may not know exactly what goodness is coming. The things that we hope for are possibilities, after all. They're not guarantees. But we trust that life has good things in store for us. And sometimes it takes spiritual work, some spiritual grappling to really see those things. Hope also, though, is something that requires us to be open to surprise. One of my favorite definitions of hope, in fact, comes from Brother David Steindl-Rast, who is better known for his work on gratitude. I referenced him a couple weeks ago. And he says that hope is openness to surprise. And there is a wonderful poem by Robert Francis called Summons that captures this idea of hope as openness to surprise so beautifully. He writes, "Keep me from going to sleep too soon. Or if I go to sleep too soon, come wake me up. Come any hour of the night, come whistling up the road, stomp on the porch, bang on the door, make me get out of bed and come and let you in and light a light. Tell me the northern lights are on and make me look. Or tell me the clouds are doing something to the moon they never did before and show me. See that I see. Talk to me till I'm half as wide awake as you and start to dress wondering why I ever went to bed at all. Tell me The walking is superb. Not only tell me, but persuade me. You know I'm not hard to be persuaded. Now, when we're struggling, we can get worn out. We may want to shut down. Maybe we want to hibernate like a bear. And it's a protective instinct. It shields us from pain and overwhelm, but it can also prevent us from noticing all of those good surprises that are still unfolding around us, that life has in store for us. You know, I'm practicing a song right now for next week's Folk Project benefit concert. It's called Brighter Days by Blessing Offer. And the original music video is something quite special. It shows 3 young people who are suffering through winter times in their own lives. One grieves the death of her young sister. Another struggles with food insecurity. And a third suffers depression as his eyesight begins to fail him. But the story of hardship doesn't end there. A loved one comes and comforts the grieving girl. A food pantry opens its doors to feed the hungry boy. And the boy who is losing his eyesight finds music, a lifelong love of piano, that leads to the very song that he, now all grown up, is singing to offer hope to others. So hope requires us to stay open to the possibilities all around us for comfort, for healing, for goodness. It requires us to be willing to stay awake and aware. You know, keep me from going to sleep too soon, that poet says, so that when the blessings come, we are awake to receive them. My friends, when life's harsh winds, smack into us and the world feels cold and dark, it can be tempting to give up, to disengage, to relinquish hope. But we are invited to instead wait. We are invited to wrestle. We are invited to stay open to surprise. And as we approach the longest night and continue through this cold and dark season, may we settle into a patient time of waiting. May we stay awake to the life-giving possibilities and processes that are unfolding within and around us. May we embody the hope that ancient one, Jacob, said when he said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And may we trust that life always has good things in store if we are willing to just wait and see. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. And now let's go ahead and rise and body our spirit again. We're going to sing the final 2 verses of our song. Before we close, I'd like to draw your attention to our Minutes for Ministries, when we share brief updates about our congregation's activities to help us stay engaged and connected with our community beyond the Sunday service. And here are this morning's announcements. Any newcomers with us today are invited to fill out a welcome card to help you get us connected with us.
help you get connected with us. You can talk with our welcome ambassador who would love to meet you and answer any questions. That person would be wearing a sunny gold sash. Yes. Okay. And if you have questions about religious education, please talk to our religious education ambassador who would be wearing a green sash. And anyone needing a caring presence this morning will find a compassionate listening ear with one of our lay pastoral care associates. You'll recognize them by a sky blue sash. And with today's welcome ambassador, lay pastoral care associate, and religious education ambassador, they may not be wearing sashes, but I'm sure they're here. Okay. And several great activities occur every week, and this week we invite you to join us on Wednesday for mindfulness meditation, on Thursday for our children's choir and adult choir, on Friday for the Folk Project Holiday Benefit Concert, which generously supports our fellowship each year, and on Saturday for our gender-inclusive holiday clothing swap and our winter solstice fair. Next Sunday for our winter solstice service, followed by our community day with caroling. And today, please join us for our Gifts of Conscience Fair featuring 8 vendors and 5 social justice partners. Come buy beautiful gifts, or if you don't need one more thing, please donate to these wonderful causes. And because of this morning's Gifts of Conscience Fair, social hour will be set up a little differently, with table seating in the terrace room and in the Erhane Wilson Gallery. Please be patient and understanding. And please purchase some home-baked sweets from our junior high class who are putting all the profits towards mortgage prevention. Thank you to our great kids and their teachers. Full details about these and many other activities can be found in the back of your order of service, in our weekly e-newsletter, and on our website, muuf.org. We now open the mic for announcements from our ministry teams and committees. Please keep your announcements to 1 minute or less. I know that's tough, but I know you can do it.
Oh. It's not my intention to be up here every week, but for the next few weeks, I think you'll have to endure it. So I promised to bring some, I was looking for this brown bag last week before I got up here. Just want to show off the modeling kit that we'll be using with our biochemistry for kids. This is, of course, our favorite molecule, water, H2O. Carbon dioxide, which got a bad rap, but not really for its own fault. It's a perfectly good molecule. And the kid's favorite carbon molecule, which looks like a dog, this is ethanol. So anyway, just want to let you know, this is the news. I just thought it up a few days ago. Anyway, I'm going to have an open Zoom session on January 4th at 6 p.m. That would be ordinarily the first meeting of our class, but we're going to push the class off a couple of weeks because we haven't got enrollment yet. And on January 4th, I'm going to do an open, adults, kids, everybody who wants to, on Zoom. We'll send out the Zoom link. And we'll do Lesson 0, where Dr. Daniel Freed presents the modeling kit. And then we'll do, which has the hemoglobin heme, very worth seeing. And then we'll go on to Lesson 1, where we'll do the introduction to the periodic table and our most popular common biomolecules. So that will be an exciting half an hour or so. And then after that, as time allows, I will do a little walkthrough of how the mRNA vaccine was developed. So, should be fun.
Hi, good morning. I'm Helene Firm. This morning, wanted to add on to what Margie said about the cookie sale. The junior high kids voted in their class to donate the profits from their cookie sale to the mortgage prevention campaign, which is to end the debt for our building project. So we want to thank them especially and let you know that in the past few weeks since Giving Tuesday, we've raised over $6,000, so we're right around $200,000 of debt remaining. So buy those cookies and let's get that number below 200,000. And thanks again to the junior high kids for deciding to do this. Thanks.
All right, it's time now for us to bring our time of worship to a close, but although we extinguish our chalice flame, its light will continue to burn in our hearts. And as we go out into our daily lives, I leave you with the words of the Reverend Maureen Killeron. Today in this community, we have shared stories, sung carols, opened our hearts to the beauty of music. Today we have turned to one another, offering care like candlelight in the dark. Today we have dared to hear a message of hope spoken once again against the challenge of the world. It is time now to depart, to go forward to our lives and to the world. May joy be your companion, whether you are with others or alone. May love be your strength, and may the gift of community dwell in your heart, for here, in this place, you will be welcome always, whenever you choose, whenever you need. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace, and enjoy the fair.